Great. Great. Onegaishimasu. Okay, perfect. Great, just shoulder width apart, just taking the stick. Shoulder width 2. Just nice and relaxed. Let the weight drop. Relax the shoulders. Release the elbows. Great, gently rocking back and forwards, just using the arms in the motion. Great, going a little bit side to side. Great, and rotating the body. All right, great. And you're going to work with a wave, working from the pelvis to the top of the neck. Roll through, let the grip be flexible on the jerk. Kind of roll up and down the stick. Okay, great. Just take the jerk to the back of the neck. You're just going to use the palms and the fingertips. Just turning the head either way and just gently massaging the back of the neck.
Oh, I see.
There we go. That's find any knots. Just work them a little bit. Okay, and then wrap the elbows just over the top. You're going to just go to one side, you make a fist one side, you take it to the cheek, tight, and then release it. So you go all the way over, tight, make a fist, and then release it. Make a fist, release it. One more each side. Release. Perfect. Okay, bringing the jerk back to the front and then just rolling the shoulders up. Normalizing the shoulders. Good. Great, going forwards with it. Great, just taking the sticks on one side, rolling the hips in circles. Great, change in the direction. Great, coming down to the knees. Circle in the knees. Changing direction. Great, bending and straightening. Great, coming out a little bit wider, rocking side to side. Holding it on one side. And change it over. Coming into the middle, dropping through the center. Sinking down one leg, reaching the toes up. Lifting the toes up. Coming over, changing the side. Great. Okay, bring in both legs back. Just let the jaw hang down between the legs. It's about the same line as the legs. Okay, stretching out a little bit through the back of the knees. Pulling up the hips. Let the head relax towards the floor. Okay, great. Good. Walking the feet back forwards, back towards the back together. Relax down. Bend the knees a little bit. Relax the head. And nice and slowly rolling back up the spine. Okay, great. Placing the jaw down one leg. You want it to be opposite side. So if it's in your right hand, raise the right leg out. And then just rolling the ankle one way and the other. Great. And just straightening the leg out to the front, straightening through the toes. Great. And then just nice and loose, front and back. Relax the hip. Great. Go to the sides. Let it cross over the front. And out. Great, and then rolling the hip out to the back. Great, shake it out and then change the leg, change the hand. Rolling the ankle. The other way. Straightening through the toes. Releasing the hip, swinging front and back. Good, other side. Great, and then rolling the hip. Great, and shaking it out. It will just go to the wrist, just taking in the middle, just rolling it over. Loosen out the wrist, forearm. Keeping the elbow heavy. Shoulder relaxing towards the back. Just change sides every so often with it. That heaviness. Great, and then alternating each time. Switching underneath. Great, adding into it a rotation, twist. Slowly start thinking about kind of shifting the weight, so just kind of raising one, sinking into the other, kind of like small steps, just focusing on getting the weight draining down one side. And start thinking into walking for the feet, whether forward, backwards motions. Okay, great. We're just taking into a little bit of ski work. So I've just taken the left side, do about 8 or 10 on each side. Nice and finding the thrust, release into the ground each time. Just got some changing sides. Great. Just play with the two side here. So you've got this thrust, and then stepping in, changing, thrusting with the back end. And come back, change the side. Thrust, change thrust with the back end. Just getting used to changing the feet, finding the back end of the jerk. Thrust, change, change. Thrust in, change, change. Great. So we'll just work with some forms which the origin of these is these are wase set, which come from movements against the ski to the body, and then later against the hayagaishi strike. We'll start with the ski ones first. So you probably know most of these, but we'll do them like this. You're going to bookend each one with a ski. So you're going to find the ski, and then the first one is this winding back. So it's winding this way, rolling the body back, and the idea is to catch the ski that would come towards the body with a block, wind it in, and then you're going to thrust back with it. So what we'll do is like 3 movements. You thrust in, here, you roll back, find that spiral block, and then thrust back in this way, and then reset it. Thrust, roll that block, thrust in again. So you got this kind of bookend with a ski. Ski, block, ski. Ski, block, ski. Give it a try.
I always
Yeah, sure.
I always wonder if that is a movement that I make with my hand and my arm, or if it's like a hip movement, and it doesn't look like one when I look at it.
It's one of those that it's not the hand, or it's not the arm. So it's not that I don't do it with the arm, but it's not driven by the arm. That makes sense. So you're doing this motion. So it's coming from the back arm, but you want the hip to be rolling it. So it's that happening through the body. So if you can play with this, if you lock the lower body down, or if you lock it up, as the hips don't move, you've got that motion. That's the motion I want the joke to happen to the joke. But basically, if I do that, then the joke gets kind of trapped with the body. Also, it's going to kind of hit the hip. So what I want to do in this case is get the hip basically winding in. Now, how I think about this is like you've got this hand here, just in front of the center, and you've got this hand at the back. What I'm thinking about is my center line, basically here in the Joe, and getting that motion in here. Now, I want to think about obviously this hip and this hand kind of connecting, but the main one is the back hip and this hand connected, so that you've got that kind of motion happen. And at the same time, I want my center line to basically connect in between the hands. And then the weight is gonna go out of the tip. Yeah. So you've got this kind of boom.
It makes total sense.
Boom. This is actually this is like a technique that would be done with a spear, with a much longer weapon. So actually with the jo, it makes sense, it works with the jo. But if you imagine a much longer weapon, like a bigger spear, which would be like this way, this would be the way you kind of move the jo, move the spear, move the weapon. You've got to get the body behind it. So it's not a weapon that I can use by rolling the arms. They're just going to get super tired. So I basically want to get the body kind of rolling underneath it and get that way. And then that way. So the jo is a little bit more forgiving, but if you think about kind of a longer, big long spear, as you do it, I'm going to get the back really engaged.
And you have more of a lever. So
Yeah, like a lever, yeah. Very right. So the arm's opening, but it's it's trying to drive it with the hip. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, and try these forms on both sides as well. So try it with the right foot forward, exactly the same. You've got that, and then you're coiling this way, going in this way. So the coil is going to go to the inside. So you first in, coil back, first in, roll back, first in. You get confused with it, you lose it. Go back to the left side with it. Go to the left, and do that. Coil. That one in, and then the right side's the same. The good thing about the jo is everything just mirrors. Usually, everything kind of balances out. So right side, left, yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, sure.
It occurs to me that you teach us this exercise about dropping the weight.
Yeah.
So that's happening throughout this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So I have to drop my weight to do this.
Yeah. Right.
Have to drop my weight to.
Yeah, I bet you want the weight to be dropping, and you want that weight to pass to the tip of the weapon, to this around about this part of the weapon, because that's the part where I'm going to make contact with the other person's jo. So you've got that position here. As you go back, you want the weight to be dropping, but I want to impart that weight to that part of the jo. So yeah, that sense of dropping the weight, boom, that, and then coming into this way. So I really want it in a way as the thrust would come in, I make contact with it. I really want to knock it straight down to the ground. So I want to kind of blow it off the center line, rather than just I want to get the feeling like bam, I press weight through it, straight through it.
Okay.
Get it right off.
Right.
So yeah, this idea of kind of dropping the weight through. Yes. Yeah. Great. Now we'll try the other direction. So in this case, or the last one, you're kind of winding the jaw this way. It's going towards the inside. This one, do the opposite way. So you're going to wind it to the outside in this one. So again, bookend it with a ski. You thrust in, and then here you draw it slightly back off to the, in this case, the right side, and then you're winding the jaw this way, and then thrusting it back. And again, you're looking for a kind of winding coil here, here, and then thrusting back onto the center. So you've got 1, 2, 3. And again, trying to get the weight into the jaw in that way. But the key is this kind of spiral movement of the jaw, spiraling back to the center. And then 3. So. Yeah, and this is a little bit of a tricky one. So just watch when you do this one, watch the angle of the body. So it's easier with the first movement. As you go back, you go to this position. You basically maintain that kind of that frontal position with the jaw, or side on in terms of the jaw position. This one you want the same. So you want the body to come back. So basically keep the body that way. So you're spiraling into the jaw this way. The problem with this movement, it tends to open out this way. So it tends to start to swing the body open. This is possible, but it's another blocking movement, and we do that movement like this movement here in number 3. But it's a slightly different movement. It's a little bit finer, so you've got that position. Now keep this alignment with the body, but take it that way, and then bring it back. So letting that spiral pass out, but keep the body side on this way, and just watch for that. Which I'm basically opening out just a little bit too much for this one. Yeah. Just staying side on, keep that spiral going through. Yeah. And again, just experiment with it on the right side as well. Feel a little bit awkward at first. Try and get that same feeling. Yeah. Okay, we'll take these to the Gedan movement, so lower ski now. So start again with the mid thrust, come into the front here, and then you're going to go to the left side. So again, the first one's to the inside, drop the body back, and think that you're protecting the knee against the thrust, so it comes here, drop in, and again, getting the weight underneath it and pressing the jaw out. Now in this one, you've got that position. You want to snap back onto the center line and then find the thrust again. So you've got 1, 2, snap back to the center and then thrust back in this way. Here's 1, keep going low, dropping the weight in, keeping the elbows low, and then thrusting back in through. So. So, yeah. And again, try it on both sides. Yeah, and again, have the feeling with this one that you're basically, as the thrust comes in, you want to basically make contact with it and really blow it off the line of attack. So you're not trying to stick to it in this case, which can be, if I do like that position, place the jar, basically I'll stick to the jar and then I basically get stuck, and then it's just a matter of who kind of moves first, of who attacks. So think with this one again, you want the weight to get it into the jar, and you want to basically strike the jar away. That means basically if I do this as a kind of blow, I basically need the body to be grounded as I do it. So I don't want to do the blow, I do it with the arms, which basically pulls me out. So think about, as you do it, reaching into the ground here and then pressing into it. So the strikes, that blocking movement has something to kind of ground into. And then from there, you free the center line up to strike in again. 1, let the weight settle. Yeah. But really think about kind of slamming the jaw off the center line. So quite a big kind of impact blow. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Whoosh. Nice. Okay, so we'll go to the other side again. So this time you go again to the outside for this one. So you thrust in. Now you've got the thrust coming, imagine it's coming to the inside of the leg here. You go back and you press the jaw out this way. So again, you've got that similar kind of pattern to the one before. I want to keep the body pretty horizontal, sideways with the jaw. And then here coming to that position, again, tracking back onto the center line and then thrusting back in. So we've got 1, goes low to the outside, center line, and then back in. We've got 1, way through the jaw, center line, track back in with the jaw. 1, 2, 3. 7. Okay, great. So you're going to try. You're going to blend all. You're going to put all 4 of those movements together now. So you've got 2 for the 𝒌𝑑𝑎𝑛 and then 2 for 𝒌𝑑𝑎𝑛. Left side, right side, or inside, outside. If you do it, depends how you think about it. So start the second with a 𝒑𝒉𝒂𝒕. You go in 1. You roll that side, back in. Roll now this side, back in. Now you go to the legs, down, inside, back, outside. Thrusting back in. So just try it as a whole form. So you go 1, inside, back, outside, 𝒌𝑑𝑎𝑛, inside, 𝒌𝑑𝑎𝑛, outside, 𝒌𝑑𝑎𝑛. And just drop in each one with a thrust. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you've got it, you can play it on the other side. Yeah. Yeah. So just play with these now and just do them a little bit freely and play with the Joe in either side of the body, but be a little bit more neutral in it. And just play with the idea of kind of thrust coming left side or right side of the body or to the front, but just play with the kind of angles. That these moves make a little bit more sense once you start to take them away from the kind of front on, where you basically got setups where the person's kind of striking kick, and I'm naturally kind of turning towards them and then finding a movement kind of naturally. Or I'm kind of turning towards them, finding that kind of spiral pattern kind of naturally. So if you think about the moves like we've got in the 13, these kind of movements, these come next in the system as it, but just think about now kind of thrusts coming in to either side of the body. Just take a kind of natural posture with the Joe and just think about first kind of spotting it, moving, and then see which one kind of feels natural. And you've also got thrusts, in this case, coming to the legs as well. So think about kind of coming out, finding that movement, and coming into it this way. But just think about a little bit of a bigger body movement now. And just naturally find that kind of spiral pattern in the movement. In, spiral it, drop into the thrust. Look from kind of neutral, Joe's in the grip, neutral, and then move with it from the thrust. Working both sides. Yeah, good. Nice. Great. So we'll work with one that goes up high, so it's against the thrust to the throat, to the face. And this one, it's got a slightly different feeling, the same quality in the end, but this one first you've got to catch up at the top. So you're catching the Joe with this part of the Joe, with this part of the Joe here, and then from here you're adjusting the hip, you're pressing down through the top. So it's got that same motion, but from the top now. And the first motion is a catch. Catch the Joe underneath, and then from here adjust the hip with the foot onto the center line, and then thrusting through. Yeah, if you want, you can thrust into it first, thrust, walk back, and then you adjust the hip down, press the weight through, and then find this. It's about kind of, this one's about catching the Joe, and then pressing weight through it, finding the center line, thrusting in. So you've got to raise, catch, then the drop, and then the thrust. So, okay, yeah, good. Yeah. Great. Yeah, and if you think about later taking this to one motion, so if you think about basically coming up to the top, dropping the jo in this way, you want this move to be really kind of minimal. And again, basically led by the body. So when you do this one in the basic, think about getting to this position. So you've got this basically lined up through the jo, the body's lined up. And then from here, be careful of going with the arm and then dropping the body. Get the sense from here that movement of the arms and the jo. So that movement is driven by a rotation in the hip. So there's a drop and a rotation in the hip, and that movement, if it's tied to the hand from the hip, that is going to release the jo, and then that weight will sink down. But what I don't want to do is kind of release the arms and then press the body down. Just two separate movements, because later you want this to be one kind of fluid motion. But just play how you get there is basically from this position. Find that connection with the hip, the hand, and then drop it in one motion. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Nice. Right. Yeah, just play with this a few slowly, but make this now one motion. So you've got this pattern, this goes straight in. So you want that whole kind of block movement now to be one thing. Block, press down as one. So it's rolling through the hip. Again, the key is the hip work. So this is tricky if I don't have the hips behind it. It will just become the arms doing it. So when you do this, really think about the hips. Hips drop into the movement each time. This, hips. So reel out that connection. So it'd be nice and thick. Yeah. Drop into it. At the same time, you want it to be really flexible. Just flows in. Flows in this way. Yeah, try. Nice. Yeah. Okay, good. Last couple of minutes. Just play with these motions. So all the ones we've done, you can think about them, Judan, Geidan, Jodan for the head. But think about now this kind of spiral quality. So again, kind of going back to what we did before, but focus now on this idea, starting in a posture, make it kind of flexible. But think about these kind of spirals, basically spiraling center, find the thrust. So you want now this whole kind of pattern to become kind of one thing, so that the spiral block, compress and thrust go into one kind of pattern. Same way we just done here, that block, contact, spiral, thrust. Just see that all as one motion now. So spiral, block, thrust back onto the center line. Basically how to dominate the center line in a kind of soft way. So you're yielding, soft, wait, and then press through. Make a nice sharp movements. Great. Okay, perfect. We'll stop there. Very good. Great. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございます。
Okay. Great. There we go. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
Thank you.
Very good.